In the heart of a divided world, a scar of concrete and wire tore a city in two. This is the story of the Berlin Wall. Built overnight on August 13, 1961, its purpose was stark: to halt the exodus from east to west. What began as a simple barbed wire fence soon morphed into a formidable barrier, a death strip where dreams of freedom met a brutal end. For 28 years, it was a symbol of the Cold War's chilling divide. Families were fractured, and lives were lived under the constant shadow of oppression. Stories of desperate courage emerged, like that of Peter Fechter, whose tragic death in the no-man's land shocked the world. Then, on November 9, 1989, the unthinkable happened. A mistaken announcement, a surge of hopeful people, and the guards, overwhelmed, opened the gates. The wall, a symbol of division, crumbled under the weight of a people united in their demand for freedom. Its fall marked the end of an era, paving the way for Germany's reunification and reminding the world that no wall can stand forever against the will of the people. The fall of the wall was not an end but a beginning. It sent shockwaves across the globe, signaling the end of the Cold War. In Germany, a nation was reborn. The economic and social challenges of reunification were immense, but the spirit of unity prevailed. Families and friends, separated for a generation, were finally reunited, healing deep emotional scars. The fall of the wall inspired a wave of democratic movements worldwide, from Eastern Europe to South Africa. Today, remnants of the wall stand as solemn memorials, a powerful reminder of a divided past and a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome oppression. To understand why the Berlin Wall was built, we must go back to the end of World War II. Germany, defeated, was divided into 4 occupation zones by the Allied powers: the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and the Soviet Union. The capital, Berlin, located deep within the Soviet zone, was also divided. As the Cold War intensified, the ideological chasm between the democratic West and the communist East deepened. West Germany, with its booming economy and political freedoms, became a beacon of hope for many in the East. By 1961, nearly 3.5 million East Germans, a significant portion of the country's workforce, had fled to the West, seeking a better life. This mass exodus, known as Republikflucht, or flight from the Republic, created a severe brain drain that threatened to cripple the East German economy and undermine its political stability. The East German government, led by Walter Ulbricht and backed by the Soviet Union, saw only one solution: to build a wall. On the night of August 12 to 13, 1961, under the codename Operation Rose, East German soldiers and police began to tear up streets and erect barbed wire fences. The initial barrier was crude, but it was quickly replaced by a more permanent and formidable concrete wall. The Berlin Wall, which would eventually stretch for 96 miles, was not just a physical barrier but a brutal symbol of oppression, a prison wall for its own people. It was a desperate act by a failing state to stop the tide of its citizens voting with their feet for freedom. Life in East Berlin was a world of stark contrasts. The state projected an image of socialist prosperity, but the reality for many was one of shortages, surveillance, and suppression. The ever-present Stasi, the state's secret police, created a climate of fear and mistrust. Yet, in the shadow of the wall, the human spirit's desire for freedom flickered and fought. The history of the Berlin Wall is also a history of incredible ingenuity and desperate courage. Escape attempts were as varied as they were perilous. Some dug tunnels, like the famous Tunnel 57, through which 57 people crawled to freedom. Others, like the Beth brothers, took to the skies, one in a homemade ultralight plane, another on a zip line from a rooftop. There were those who tried to ram the checkpoints with modified cars, and even a family who sewed together a hot air balloon in secret. But for every successful escape, there were countless failures. The Death Strip, a heavily guarded no-man's land, claimed the lives of at least 140 people who were shot by border guards or died in other tragic ways. These stories of both triumph and tragedy are a powerful testament to the lengths people will go to in the name of freedom. The drive for freedom inspired some of the most audacious escapes in modern history. In 1963, an Austrian, Heinz Meixner, modified his tiny Austin Healey convertible, removing the windshield so he could speed under the 3-foot-high checkpoint barrier, smuggling his future mother-in-law out of East Berlin. Then there was the Senior Citizens Tunnel. In 1962, a group of 12 elderly people, led by an 81-year-old man, dug a 32-meter-long tunnel from a chicken coop to the other side. They famously declared, "We wanted to walk to freedom without bowing our heads," and so they dug their tunnel tall enough to walk through upright. Perhaps one of the most creative escapes involved a simple uniform. In 1986, it was discovered that a membership card to a Munich strip club looked remarkably similar to a diplomatic passport. Several people successfully bluffed their way through checkpoints by confidently flashing the card. This unlikely passport to freedom worked until an observant guard finally noticed the deception. These stories, a mix of high-tech ingenuity and simple, daring bluffs, add to the incredible legend of the Berlin Wall.